I still see so many people screw up at beginning segments of this course. I'm gonna make one last tip. Just take it like this, and since it's slanted downwards, it's actually faster for you to just take a few carves instead of actually attempting to run that. And I do see people trying to do this and carving too wide. So when you're on this part, I keep on seeing people fly off because they carve too wide. And then their next attempt they try to account for that by carving sharper, and that makes them lose all their speed. Try to find a nice middle ground that's comfortable.
Alright, so what you want to do?
But if you're going for speed, like for example, if you wanted to get a better time than what I have there, you would probably want to run to gain as much speed as you can in such a short time, and then do a jump like that. That skips like a second at the most, but a skip is a skip. I'm going to try to do what I explain how I managed to complete and do this somewhat consistently, because people do not have ceiling carves on consistently at this point. I don't like ceiling carves. Because most of the time, whenever there's a ceiling carve in a weekly, it's left-handed. I swear another Axiom's left-handed because of this. There's one time that I can remember that has a right-handed ceiling carve, and it's right there. Instead of trying to use the top of your hand, which might be more comfortable, instead of trying to do this, whatever, just... There's no easy way I can explain it, just when you're having your hand like this, which like some people might try to do when they first start ceiling carving, instead just turn your hand 180 degrees around. I don't know how else to explain it. And now you want to keep your hand low, starting to do a slight turn before you even make it touch the wall. If you don't, you're gonna fly off like that guy, or just drop down. And as you go through, you want to start turning and raising your arm at the same time. This can be difficult to get used to, but once you know how to do it, you can just practice it a bunch and you can get it down more consistently. This is and now, when you reach this part, if you manage to complete the ceiling carve correctly, like let's see if Sir Hype can do it.
Tell me how.
Like what Sir Hype did, don't take all this, just run across this and then jump. If you manage to just barely take it, oh damn, Sir Hype failed. If you manage to just barely land on it, then I suggest you run for the first little part and then you just start carving. See if King Lava can barely make it. No, okay, damn. Give me 1 second. Like, so you barely make it on with not enough speed. You run across this, take a carve, take a wide carve, take a smaller carve here, and then you jump across. If you did it right, you should hopefully have just enough speed. I didn't have enough speed there. If you made it with, I'd suggest you hopefully stay around 17 to 14 as your speed. If you go underneath 10, you're not going to be able to make this because you're going to be too slow. Now, if you go too fast, you can still complete. If you just tap yourself up, you can then launch yourself back right here. And you can easily complete this segment without having a bunch of speed into it. Doing a light tap, taking a step to the right in case you get away from it, and then just doing a ceiling. And then just doing, why do I always get those mixed up, ceiling and wall carves? And then just do a wall carve. With a big ol' right-handed wall carve. When I won, I did multiple small wall carves. I tapped up, make sure I'm not gonna make into contact with the wall, and then do this. But except, of course, move your hand faster than I did, or else you're just gonna fall off. After you do that, you should have a bunch of speed exiting this, like around 20 mph, ms, which should just allow you to do a few taps, and on the transfer this one, you might want to do a wall carve into a tap. So just barely make it right here. You would want to then go across that, do a couple carves, and then just hurdle. Because honestly, my right controller is low. Fun. Because honestly, that's easier because of how much height there is. Where you can do a jump that won't have you hit the top of this, which is harder than you think it would be. And because of the fact that 90% of the time you're going to be practicing doing a left-handed carve, you're going to be terrible at right-handed carves, especially if you're left-handed, causing you to fall. And because it's much harder than you think it would be to make it up there, it's actually difficult to get your hand up there without extending your arm, I mean, you have basically no room to extend your arm further. So if you get around like 13 ms, meters a second, you should hopefully be able to just jump it. You should just be able to hurdle it. I didn't get enough speed there. I don't know. I also didn't jump good. But if you're able to land this jump, you win. So hopefully, me going a teensy bit more in depth now that I've actually completed it with this neat little pattern. Now I have the neat little pattern. You can complete the weekly and get the circuit pattern, because honestly, this is honestly one of the coolest patterns they've introduced into the game. It sucks how it doesn't work with its own color scheme, similar to things like Flame, where it just doesn't work with its own color scheme, but it works really well with other color schemes. I don't know why, but a lot of patterns are like this, but I don't feel like they work well with their own color scheme, even though they're meant to. Okay, got enough drag. Hope any of this me going more in depth here is able to help you complete this. Oh yeah, and I don't know if I said this before when I was talking about this first beginning part, right before the ceiling carve. Just run across until you have to do a carve, then you stick to carving for the rest of the entire, for like most of the course until you get to that, which then you just run across this first little bit, that like lighter purple that you can see. Then you just stick to carves, doing a fucking Mario Kart snake. You know, just running across, getting as much speed as you can. And then you take a couple carves. Then you just hurdle. If you hopefully... You're not gonna have... If you fail this, that jump, you're not gonna have enough speed to... You're not gonna have enough time to go down there, go a few boost panels, come up here, then come... And then time your jump right to be able to come back up here. Trust me, I've tried that twice. And it didn't work either time. Okay. Now I'm done. And hopefully with these more in-depth tips and all that, I try to give basic tips at the beginning of the week. And then as the week progresses and I get more time to look at it and practice it, I give more in-depth tips at the week. If you want to see anything else, anything more like this, subscribe. Goodbye. And see you tomorrow with Gorilla Tag. Yeah, Gorilla Tag. I recorded a video 2 days ago on Friday for it and just never uploaded it. Okay, bye.